Hey Sid,
Hi Tim, good morning.
how are you?
I'm good, good. I think I'm finally get back on my feet after the interesting couple of weeks we had in the recent past.
hmm
And how are you feeling?
Yeah. Also, I can still feel that I'm a little bit tired, but I'm getting back into the rhythm, so that's good. But maybe we should explain a little bit where we've been.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we should. We should.
Yeah.
Uh,
So you joined me at the OpenText World, the big conference, which was again in Las Vegas, US this time. So that was
I
first
did.
time OpenText World for you, and first time
I
Las Vegas for you.
I did. I did. Yes, indeed.
Hmm.
I mean, first time Las Vegas for me. First time OpenText World as well. And I was expecting to be surprised, and I would say it was very nice surprises I got. Right, in good ways.
hmm
Well, Las Vegas, we all have an idea what it is, etc. But for me, the best thing was the day before the conference. Yeah, after I arrived, there was a big 8 9 hour time difference. I had to catch up my sleep, but we decided to go out of Las Vegas in a car,
hmm
right, and then see the real big desert, the Hoover Dam, the Grand Canyon. I think the sight of that cannot prepare you enough. I think that
hmm
was the big
Massive.
revelation for me,
Yeah.
and that gives you perspective. I think that was one of the awe-inspiring events of the trip, I would say. Uh, and then just the vast desert and how people are living on both sides. As far as I can see, that was also something. Yeah, I don't think I can ever forget.
Mm. No, I agree. I mean, for me, it was I think the third time I was in Las Vegas. Of course, the city I've now seen, yeah, and the famous hotels and all of that. But if I kind of look a little bit back, indeed, the road trip, so that one day was really, really, I think, special. Because the first time I was in Vegas, we took the helicopter tour, which also brings you to Grand Canyon, flies over Grand Canyon, over Hoover Dam. Then you
Mhm.
land and you're allowed to go out and walk a little bit around. But this road trip is actually much better. So for any people who ever, either for business or for private reasons, go to Las Vegas or in the area of Las Vegas, I think if you have a day time. I think one day you need a full
Mhm.
day. I think it's definitely advisable to rent a car
Yep.
and then drive out. And as we were pretty well informed, we knew that there were two options. You can go to the west rim of the Grand Canyon or the south rim. And the
But
west rim is 3 hour drive. The south one is apparently 5 hour drive, um, which was said that the south is actually the better option, which I think we should do next time because we were so impressed by the West, which was the, let's say, the not so good option. But timing wise, if you only have one day, it does take 3 hours to drive. But I think we spent from, what was it, from 12:30 until almost 5 o'clock in the afternoon at the Grand Canyon at these
that's
different
that's
stops where the bus takes you around. And yeah,
that's right. That's right. I mean,
so
it was one of the best afternoons of my life so far, right? I mean, but that was the Monday, and then if I see the next 3 days, they were equally impressive and awe-inspiring because of just the people we met and the things we learned at the conference.
hmm,
Right? I mean, the best part is, of course, meeting people, right? Now we are back in a world where we can meet customers, partners, open text people, and the amazing things they are doing, as well as just connecting, right? I mean,
hmm,
that for me was a great takeaway.
hmm. I mean, we had a super busy schedule, yeah. So I think we were fully packed morning to evening with different, with the summit itself, the keynotes, different breakout sessions. But I mean, I'll ask you first because it was first time for you. So what were the key takeaways?
There are basically three, I would say, the key takeaways for me from the summit. One is we are focused on what we do, and we are good at that, no doubt about it. But being in a place like that, you also become aware of perspective, right? What are the other things happening in the ecosystem? Yeah, what are the other interesting things people are doing? Yeah, that
Hmm,
in a direct or indirect way has an impact or could have an impact on us, right? And that is something that you don't realize every day on your day-to-day
mm,
work. But when you are in such an environment, it's inspiring, right? It's you get perspective. That is my first takeaway. Yeah, be it yeah, other areas of the business or the ecosystem or the infrastructure or that we are not necessarily working on, but equally important to be aware of. Let me put it this way. That's my first one. The second takeaway is a pretty obvious one. It's a age of AI, and AI is making an impact everywhere. There's a lot of initiatives in different directions. There were discussions from Google, from SAP, obviously from OpenText about how they are shaping up, sometimes alone, sometimes together, collaboratively. So what it could mean, right? What is AI? And OpenText has launched the Aviator initiative. So indeed, there are, and what my takeaway is, AI is good, but it also depends on the use cases, right? So it has to, for people like us, we have to look into the use cases where such a thing can make an impact.
mm,
The third takeaway for me is, as I see, AI is a journey. And right now, we need to help our partners, our customers in getting the building blocks ready for the journey.
mm,
I remember some statement from the keynote: no data equal to no AI,
mm,
right? Or even no clean data is no good AI. So those two are the two statements I took back with me, saying this is very, very important, especially in the region, in the space of where we work, right? I mean, our job is to make sure the data is information, documents is securely stored, correctly archived, information is made available to the relevant people, right? And these
mm,
are the building blocks.
mm,
So I would say those are the three takeaways I have taken back with me from
mm.
the summit.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. I mean, I also remember, I think, one of the big messages was great AI does require great information management in the first place.
Mm,
Yeah. And that I think is a commonality because also was at an SAP event very recently. And they also launched Joule and are looking at AI similar capabilities, business process, better productivity, learnings, and the more like conversational interaction, yeah, with software and with technology. So it's very interesting to see the different technology providers, both OpenText, SAP, looking at it from their angle, which I think will be, in my point of view, very complementary to each other because they are different. Yeah. The only thing I spotted in both is apparently Google is everywhere in this game. Yeah.
yeah.
Because OpenText says, well, okay, well, we do use a lot of the Google, let's say,
I mean, also
large language
Microsoft, right?
model.
Google, Microsoft,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
are
It's
because of the place they are in, whether it's
correct.
Copilot or it's Google. They, as I
Correct.
said, we saw separately what they're doing as well as collaboratively. We also had Google and SAP on the stage
Right.
with OpenText explaining how they're working together.
Yeah.
So indeed, I see this as more of a space which is evolving, where
Mm,
instead of everyone working siloed, we are talking about integrating, whether through
mm,
APIs or developer clouds or SAP
mm,
BTP. So they're trying to evolve in a way that the collaboration is much easier than how it is today.
mm,
Because you mentioned SAP, some of our colleagues are joining the SAP TechEd in Bangalore next week, and the theme there, which they would be focusing on, is exactly on the SAP side of things, how they are, positioning SAP BTP and SAP Joule, and
mm,
exactly in the case that how can
mm,
we bring it back to our offerings.
mm.
And so
Correct.
it's an
Totally
interesting
correct.
space to watch.
Yeah, I think, I mean, also keen to hear from our colleagues attending TechEd what they find out. Because I had a short keynote very recently also by SAP, which was around kind of three topics. AI, yeah, that's one already covered. The second one was about, let's say, composable innovation, yeah, so cloud, and I think this is where the in SAP world BTP comes into play, as well as let's say what they call to give power to people, and this is where more, let's say, in their vision, you have the low code, even no code, yeah, where the business and IT come closer together. Yeah, and I don't think anybody's expecting business people will ever write, full blown end to end software solutions, but they will get a bit more savvy and get tools to, yeah, get things done in a better or an easier way as it has been in the past. So,
It's interesting you mentioned this because I also spent some time with talking to the OpenText Developer Cloud people in the summit,
Mm,
right? And of course, the OpenText Developer Cloud is enabling OpenText technologies to be used in a similar platform, low code, reusable, API based, which is good. I mean, that's what we also want to try the technical part of it, seeing what is possible. But my takeaway from my discussion with them is the use cases. Because actually, what, if I understand them right, they are asking work us partners to work with the customers to build the last mile,
mm,
find out the use case that solves a problem at the customer, and then use this platform to do the whatever is necessary using the low code and all the APIs
mm,
available.
yeah.
So that's also an interesting take compared to how we were approaching, saying this is a specific product which comes with this functionality, take it and tune it to what you ask, compared
Mm,
to let's see your use case and what you need, and let's put in the Lego boxes that will fit in.
mm,
Right?
yeah.
So it's
I
a
mean, it's super interesting, and there's still a lot to digest. Um, but I'm actually happy. In let's say within a time span of 3 weeks, had both an OpenText and an SAP event, because you can spot indeed the common themes, yeah, from two very big enterprise software providers. Of course, each strong, in their own space with their own focus, and with the partnership of SAP and OpenText, of course, super good, together. But it's super super interesting, and there's still a lot to digest. But it's also some of the things I start to realize is that probably future wise, they're trying to say, well, you have some system of records, or take an OpenText case, content management systems, and you kind of stay to a clean core, right? So you keep things kind of standard for what is kind of standard business processes,
mm,
which does not really differentiate, one organization, one company to another. But then in terms of the specifics of a company, their innovation, their differentiator, that is where then these building blocks come on top of that. Yeah,
yeah,
and I think where historically a lot of the in SAP cases, a lot of the changes and specifics were done in the ABAP code, yeah, with
mm,
millions of lines
mm,
of ABAP code. They kind of saying, okay, stop doing that, and then use SAP
mm,
BTP or even a BTP on ABAP, which apparently is also technically an option, but make your changes there, because then you keep a clean, core, which probably makes it easier to upgrade for future
mm,
innovations and all of that to
yeah,
follow. But it's interesting because it's really, I think a lot of the customers do have a challenge still ahead of them in order to
yeah,
get from where they are with their big platforms like SAP
uh,
today, and take that
yeah.
next step. Because that was
But I'm convinced the changes will go fast because of the world we're living in, the pace of
mm,
things that are changing compared to how it
mm,
were. These changes will happen much faster than it used to be,
mm,
right? It's that is one thing for sure.
mm,
Now we just can just prepare with the building blocks and help our customers on this
mm.
journey, right?
That's our job. That's our role, I
And
think. To stay in sync of the capabilities, and
us-
then try to help and maneuver around it.
and on that note, do you have any news of how we are preparing for that? Do you have new colleagues joining us, or
Yeah, yeah. I
what's
mean, if
happening?
we look a little bit now, let's say inside, our own house here at Turnpikes, super high level of activity. Yeah, so I sense everybody is running very fast. We're still hiring. We're still growing on a monthly basis. Yeah, we had new people joining in October. We have new people lined up for November. We've hired for the start date in January as well. And as you know, we have a few people also in the shortlist for some of the other open positions. So that is super positive, right? That we see a lot of traction in the regions where we are, which basically is Nordic, as well as Canada. Yeah, Canada, North America. I see, super much activity and really good pipeline there. So there is it's for me no brainer, super good foundation, to continue our growth. And yeah, from that perspective, it's yeah, we're still in the right spot. And I think it's also a reflection of my mate, both sitting again in OpenText as well as in SAP events. When you look around, is okay, all people in the room here will not be out of a job in the coming
Don't
years.
say.
Yeah, because IT savvy people, with this knowledge and understanding, yeah, I think it's more a reflection. Is it gonna when is the bottleneck gonna hit that there's not gonna be enough
Mm,
specialists and qualified people out there to
mm.
for companies like ourselves and many of the others. Yeah, but let's see.
Right.
We'll continue to attract good people. We'll continue to also have a focus on the young talents. Yeah, we've done that for the last five
Yeah.
years already. It's nothing new. But also, I think that is something we maybe accelerate and scale up
Indeed.
because it makes really good sense.
I completely agree. I completely agree. I mean, both lateral as well as young talent is how we are growing and how I see we are the path to grow.
Good.
Uh, right.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Tim, for this short chat. And yeah, look forward to the coming few weeks before the end of the year and hear more about what exciting things are we going to do. Yeah, before we close
Absolutely.
this visit.
Absolutely. I have a task that I have to brief internally also. I promise that to the different teams that what we've learned. We'll make a good session on those takeaways, a bit more detailed than the short
Mm,
brief chat we had now. But just to make sure that that information is really shared across the entire team. And yeah, once we have that information, I guess we'll put some of it more publicly out there as well. I'm very keen also to hear from all the other ones in the same space. Yeah, um, to hear from them. But thanks for now.
thank you,
Really
Tim.
good catching up.
Thank you, and have a nice weekend when you get to it.
The same to you. Thank you, Sid. Bye
Thank you.
bye.
Bye.